Today we're going to cover the tapered module drawing tools that you have the ability to use. Now you're still going to be working with the area tool, however we are adding in a high-low capability, we're adding in an auto Cricut capability, a manual Cricut capability, and a sump capability. The sump capability will only be turned on if inside of the condition properties you have sumps turned on and populated. Now, the sump tool is a simple count tool, so when you click on your sumps, you're just going to go where your drains are and place that sump down. Now, to draw out your areas, you will need to draw each sloped area individually. So in this case, instead of drawing one big rectangle, you're actually going to draw 4 individual shapes, 2 trapezoids and 2 triangles. In this case, you click on your area tool, and if you would like, you can start at the sump where you have your snap 2 points, but then you're going to simply follow along the image. Now in this case, you can see ortho isn't really working out for me, so I can temporarily turn the ortho off just so that way I can go in and make sure that I draw this to follow the lines of the image. Once you're done, click enter on your shape and then repeat. So we're going to do this a couple more times. And then once we finish, then we're going to talk about the high-low and the Cricut tool that you have the ability to use. So here we are, just doing these last couple shapes. Now, once I finish this triangle here, I'm going to select the high-low tool. The reason I'm going to select the high-low tool is because I'm already selected on a shape. So when I click on my high-low tool, I'm now going to click the high point and the low point. Now I have a couple options over here on the right-hand side to change it. However, in most cases, the 2-point high-low is going to be the easiest to use. I do recommend turning ortho on for this so you can lay out your tapered perfectly straight. In this case, you're going to click the high point and you're going to click the low point. Now notice that I'm not clicking in the middle of the shape. The reason being is for the reporting that we'll show you here in just a moment. So once you click on the next shape, you're going to do your high point and your low point, and you're going to do that for all of the shapes you've drawn. Now once you've drawn in all of your high-lows, now you can click on the tapered Cricut and you can draw that. With the auto Cricut, you have a couple different methods. You have a 3-point method where you're going to be referencing the red numbers to draw out that Cricut. You have a ratio, so if you want a 3:1 or a 2:1 ratio based off of your legs, you can build that as well. Or you have a percentage, so let's say you wanted a 60% ratio, simply type in 60% and it's going to allow you to draw that out. In this case, since we have a drawn Cricut on our background image, I'm simply going to use the 3-point. If I wanted to change from the full to top or bottom half, left or right half, or a quarter, I simply just click in the little white box there, white circle, and it's going to make the adjustments for me. In this case, I'm going to use full, and now I'm going to draw out my Cricut. So I'm going to go point number 1, point number 2, and move my mouse to point number 3. Now one thing that's unique is if you are in ortho, it is going to make you snap to your point. So instead of toggling off ortho, you can simply just move your line down to where your crosshairs match up with your drawing and left click, so that way you don't have to turn the ortho off to be able to get your line to the right spot. Now, that's a good majority of the drawing tools you have. The last one you have is a manual Cricut. Now the manual Cricut is unique, and the reason it's unique is because the very first line that you draw is going to be the sloped portion. So let's say, for example, I wanted to delete this Cricut here, and I want to redraw this portion of the Cricut with the manual Cricut tool. What I would need to do is click on the manual Cricut tool, and I'm going to draw this line as the first line because that is the low point. So you'll always draw the low point first, then you'll draw the next shape, click enter, and you'll notice that there's your Cricut. Now the arrow is a little bit different on the manual Cricut than what you have on the auto Cricut. However, you can see that it is still laying it out correctly for you. It's more of just a visual difference between the two. So we've drawn in our tapered, but what does that look like when we go out and look at the report? Well, simply click on VidGrid. Here you can have your tapered condition, and I'm going to mark that tapered condition just to show us only this in the project. Then I can click on my reports icon, and you'll notice that I have a tapered insulation report. Simply click the play button to preview that tapered insulation report, and now you can go in and make some modifications. I do want to print the takeoff area only. I do want the background image to come in, I do want both area and Cricuts. I do want fasteners to be presented. The auto rotate's up to you. Do you want this in landscape or portrait? If you want to choose, uncheck auto rotate, and paper size is up to you as well. In this case, I'm going to choose 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to say OK. Now, once all those checkboxes have been selected and you click OK, you're going to be presented with a couple reports. The first report is going to be a top-down view of what your drawing looks like. So in this case, you can see I've got my tapered, and you'll even notice that on the drawing we have some numbers displayed there for you. Well, that's going to be your board layout. You'll see you're laying an X board, then a Y board, and then it's your X plus your fill information. So this is going to give you that good overhead view of what this tapered system should look like from a top down. Now, if you want, you can close out of this tapered report to show you a cut through tapered report. So in this case, you're able to see here's my X and Y board, here's my insulation for my base layer, and then here's the fill pattern that's coming in. Now, if you watch the video walking you through how to fill out the condition properties for the tapered module, you'll notice that I showed you the 5.2 inches of ISO and the 4 inches of ISO and how to populate that information. However, if you notice this on the report, on the pricing screen, it's going to look a little different. Instead of seeing 5.2 inches of ISO, you're actually going to see 2.6. And again, if you have questions about that, reference back to that condition property video that we have on the tapered module. If you're ready to close out of this report, you can simply click the exit button, and now you're going to be taken out of that report, and now you can close out of the reports tab altogether. So that's going to be how you can use the tapered module and how you're going to draw with the tapered module and pull your reports. If you have any additional questions on the tapered module itself and you've watched both of those videos, please feel free to reach out to our tech team. They'd be happy to assist you with any questions you have or any issues that you ran into while you were making your modifications. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.